Okay.
Hello, and welcome back once again.
Nah. Y'all gonna be mad. This episode, y'all gonna some hurt feelings gonna be on this episode.
Y'all gonna be angry.
A whole tar fight happened, and I was like, we're gonna save this for the podcast. Now I know we haven't done one in a while, and I'm sorry about that, but things need to be said, and opinions need to be heard. Let's just get right into it, because there's no way going
There's
about
no
this.
really easy way to get into it.
So I over the weekend or over the past week, the conversation was brought up of what was the best movie overall, right? And there's a whole argument to be made about just that in itself. There was a lot of people that says you can't pick just one single movie. It has to, throughout all genres, there has to be a favorite movie in each genre, because it's too hard to pick one movie over all. Mm-hmm. And yes and no, I do think you can pick one movie over all. It's just it will be really hard. And the fact is, I mean, I'll go ahead and say my favorite movie across all genres, just I think it's just one of the greatest movies ever made, and that's probably Interstellar, and that's with Matthew McConaughey.
Okay,
Have you ever seen it?
I don't know. I can't remember if I have seen it or not, but it doesn't really ring a bell.
To me, I want to be constantly on the edge of my seat when I'm watching a movie and constantly questioning things. Like, I want you to make my brain, like, actually make me think a little bit, at the same time completely entertaining me, and at the same time blowing my brain away.
Yeah.
So Interstellar for me checks all those boxes, and I ain't gonna lie, there was a scene in it where I cried. When Matthew McConaughey cries, I cry.
Oh yeah.
But trailing right behind it, and I mean it's on its heels for me, is also Ready Player One.
Okay.
And that's because it's just a nostalgia overload. It's just a dump.
Yeah.
It has everything that the generation before me and my generation had grew up with. So, you know, it's just hit after hit. It's obviously the video gaming. I grew up playing nothing but video games. You know, the Nintendo to 64 to, you know, now we have Xboxes with different numerals behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Series
Absolutely.
X. But, you know, you see certain things like Chucky's in it, and that's, you know, growing up, my dad loves horror movies, so that's something I was always around. So seeing that,
I think it was just like a plethora of like genres that got thrown into that movie, and it's like just nostalgia for everybody.
Had the DeLorean,
yeah,
had
absolutely.
Mechagodzilla. Mm-hmm. So it was just nonstop, you know, and that's why I say it's hard on its tails. It almost like a tie
Yeah.
first, but that also led into another argument.
This is where it all spiraled.
This is where it all spiraled out.
Out of control.
Shirts were taking off, fists were almost flying. So then we got down to what was the best trilogy of all time. So you said your favorite movie of all time was Revenge of the Sith, right?
So let me back up real quick. Yes, that is my favorite movie. Do I think that there are better movies out there? Absolutely. But for me, this is just one of the movies that's like, it checks all my boxes.
Okay.
Okay?
I can agree with that.
So,
Okay.
because that also got taken out of context. Like, what do you mean? Oh, hold on. That's those are my boxes. Now, that being said, trilogies of all time, I don't know. I'll let you continue on.
So now we're into trilogies, right? And when I say trilogies, immediately I know what comes to your guys' mind as well as ours. You have obviously Lord of the Rings, right? You have Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That you have the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yep.
And then you have, depending on what, if you pick in the sequels, the prequels, you have the Star Wars.
Yeah.
So you have the first three, which is obviously like your New Hope, and then, or you have the the prequels, which is episode 1, 2,
and
and
the
3.
sequels. Yeah.
So this is where some hurt feelings came out, and You stated that you didn't think, and this is everyone's got their opinion. Everyone's got their opinion. I sat there and had to think about this hard, and I see your point, and I don't see your point. But you said that you'd never really liked Lord of the Rings.
Nope.
That baffled me. That blew my mind. I could not believe I heard that because I've never met anyone that said they didn't like Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is kind of where, this is where it all spiraled just out of control. So when it comes to trilogies, a lot of trilogies that have come out, into the big theater, the big screen, come out because of a book.
It's a movie adaptation.
It's a movie adaptation, exactly right. Star Wars is kind of like loosely there because they did a lot of comics, and then because the premise behind Star Wars is more like, cool, yeah, we wrote this comic, but whatever comes on screen is the official. It's like canon. The official. That's canon, yeah. So like some comics are not necessarily like canon to what happened in the story, but whatever's on screen, that's the official.
Kind of like that the Disney Plus was it Visions?
Vision,
like a lot of
exactly.
Those aren't canon.
Those are not canon, exactly. Until one day, you're watching a movie and then you're gonna.
Damn it. So we had some technical difficulties with the camera or the system we're working with. It decided to throw a big thumbs up icon on Jorge's face.
Right.
So we're
weird,
in the middle recording, getting into a heated argument about it. It was steamrolling, and that happened. So let's go ahead and just start this episode over.
We'll start
now that
again.
we're 7 minutes. We just lost. You said
I don't like it.
he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it.
I don't like
which
it.
I've never heard anyone ever say they didn't like Lord of the Rings.
Yep. And a lot of times, like it's crazy to me because when you watch a trilogy, when you watch a movie, these are adaptations from books.
Yes.
Correct. So these book adaptations that they bring them onto the big screen, they're supposed to capture the audience. They're supposed to engage the audience. So when you watch these movies, they're doing two things. They are putting into motion, right? Putting into live action what readers already love.
Yes.
And they are introducing new nerds, if you will, into the lore, right? So if you're introducing new people to come in and watch this movie, hey, it's an adaptation from a book, come check it out. You need to capture that audience in order for them to say, hey, I like this. And I can say confidently, hey, I don't like this.
And so this is what I've been doing with all week. And it's crazy because I didn't even think, this would be something that it's just a nonstop back and forth. I see your point. I do. And everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? I never really thought Revenge of the Sith was a good movie to begin with.
Right.
But with that being said, and I watched it again for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Just to see. I was trying to see from your point of view. I was like, what makes
what
this
does
movie
he
so
see in
good?
this thing?
And there was a lot of problems with it. And I mean a lot.
Oh, yeah.
With that being said, I still enjoy the movie. Is it up there on my number one? It's nowhere close. It's not even top 100.
And I mean, just in that same fashion, I watched The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The Fellowship of the Ring.
That was the first one.
To try and like, okay, let me watch this again and see what am I missing? What am I not seeing here? And I still did not see that.
And I'm blown away because I don't understand why. Like you've gone over a few things on why you didn't like it. To me, you're nitpicking, in my opinion. you're trying from my point of view, you were trying to hate it. You want to hate it. And like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You don't have to like all the stuff that I like. for us to get along. Lord of the Rings is just one of those things that I'm blown away that is something. And like you said, they have to follow the books, right? The adaptation, the lore. There's so much, and there's a lot. I'm not even gonna try to tell you that I'm an expert in Tolkien lore,
right?
Because there is so much.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to it, and this is where I got into it. This is where I was kind of all right. Let's do it. Let's get at it.
Yeah.
There is a lot of lore in the Lord of the Rings. There's a lot behind it. There's a lot of books, series. For what I understand, Tolkien actually, wrote a story for each character, wrote their background, described the language.
He invented a whole
He invented a whole entire world, right?
A whole universe around this.
And like me nitpicking little things here and there, that was just me for argument's sake.
It worked.
But like the biggest thing is like, okay, you put in this much effort, great. That's awesome. You put it into a book, great, awesome. But when it came down to putting it into a movie, I think that's where it kind of like you disconnected. You described so much into 3 movies that I don't even think that it still captured everything.
Well, it's not. Like, that would be the same argument as Spider-Man, right? There's so much from the beginning to the arc of what Spider-Man fully becomes and how he dies.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's impossible to put all that into 3 movies. It's impossible to do, in my opinion, to even do that with Darth Vader or any other characters or any other story. The fact that there's an entire lore, Silmarillion, I can never say the word right, Silmarillion, for Lord of the Rings, for the lore, the Tolkien lore. They were only allowed to use so much of it. They actually weren't allowed to use the whole lore of Lord of the Rings, or the Tolkien lore. They were only able to use certain pages, from my understanding, to do Lord of the Rings, or the War of the Ring.
Right.
And the same thing with the Hobbit, and I think there was issues even with Ring of Power, the show on Amazon.
Yeah.
But there's like you said, Tolkien had wrote a story for each and every character, a whole backstory.
Yeah.
There's no way to fit that into 3 movies, even if those are the extended versions.
I know.
So if you have each extended version, that's like what, 3 hours long, 3.5 hours long.
The extended version. I tried to watch that one. I was like, it ain't happening. It's not. It wasn't happening. I think I passed out like minute 20 or something like that.
They had a job to tell the story, and try to fit it all into 3 movies that are each about 3 hours long. There was just no way they were gonna be able to fit everyone's backstory, so they gave you just a basic overlay of everything, which in my opinion was more than enough. So I watched the movies before I ever knew about the lore behind it all, and that, to me, I was able to understand everything. Don't get me wrong, like you said, there were certain characters that showed up, and it's like, hey, who the hell is this person?
Who the heck is this?
Why are they so powerful? And how come they only showed them for a brief moment and then just went on?
I think, that was one of my things. It's like when the fellowship is coming all together and everybody's just kind of showing up out of nowhere. I think, to me, that's like, what do you mean? Like, who is this person? Who are these people, right? Like, they're showing all up, and then when they get to the Elf Kingdom, I can't remember the name. They get to the Elf Kingdom, and it's like, okay, this is where you guys are going, yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. It was said, and maybe this is how it's written down in the book, that these people got told, hey, you guys are going to take this ring to Mordor. But in the movie, it was more like, okay, who's gonna go? Who's gonna volunteer to go? And then Frodo volunteered, and then everybody else, kind of like, well, I'm in it too.
Yes. So from my understanding, yes, the book and the lore was basically said, we need one from every party to go to do this. Become
Exactly.
the Fellowship of the Ring.
Exactly.
And I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. In the movie, basically that's what it was. Everyone was arguing over
Who was going to go and what's going to happen here.
Pretty much said, hey,
Exactly.
instead of taking it, we should take this to Gondor. This should be we should use the ring. And that's when everyone jumped in. You cannot use the ring. It only has one master. And that is its entire, its goal is to get back to its master.
Yeah.
And that's when, everyone's arguing. Frodo steps up, 2 feet high, and was like, I'll take it.
You know what? I'll take it. Quit your crying. I'll go.
And from there, that's when Gandalf said, hey, I will join you on your journey.
Yeah.
And then from there, everyone started joining too. Well, hell, if Gandalf's going, I'm going.
And I think that was the other part, too, that kind of bothered me in that whole series as well. Like, the most powerful character, damn near Gandalf. He's a wizard, for God's sakes. Lived hundreds of years.
Oh yeah.
And then he cannot take the ring because of temptation, right? Like, he doesn't want to be tempted by the ring.
It does it to everyone.
So he knows that if he takes the ring, he's going to be tempted. And then here's this little hobbit comes out of nowhere. Oh, hey, look at this ring. This is cool. Yeah, awesome. And it's like, why is that was the other part. Maybe it explains it in the Hobbit movies or in the books itself.
Well, hobbits themselves are, if you look at it, when Sam, I know you don't know this because you haven't gotten to the third movie. In Return of the King, there's at the end of Two Towers, Frodo gets hurt by a giant spider. He gets stung, wrapped up, and I think it leads into the third movie, if I can remember correctly. But in the beginning of the third movie, Return of the King, Frodo's pretty much spun up by a giant spider. These orcs come in, and they take him, and they're going through the body, pulling all the stuff off. Sam found Frodo before the orcs could take him and pulled the ring, put him on himself.
Yeah.
Sam then stormed this castle and killed all the orcs, but the ring never tempted Sam. So I think it's hobbits. Hobbits have a resistance.
Why did Bilbo get tempted?
It's just over the years, but he was able to give it up.
He didn't want to.
But
it was kind of like more like, hey, you need to give up that ring, before it consumes you completely. He didn't want to give up that ring.
No.
If he would have had it his way, I think if you want to make that argument of like hobbits don't get tempted, then I think he could have given it up himself.
I don't say that they don't get tempted. I think they have more resistance to it because, in a sense, Gollum was I think he was like I think they called him Little Feet they basically a hobbit.
Okay,
but he had held on to it for decades, and that's why. So the ring does something to you while you're holding it.
Prolongs your life.
Yeah, you have a very long life.
Right.
And it did the same thing for Bilbo. If you remember, after he gave the ring away, you finished the first movie at least, right?
Yeah, I finished that one.
So Bilbo, remember when Frodo sees him again?
In the Elf Kingdom,
yeah. So Bilbo looked much older.
Arendelle?
I think that's what it was. But Bilbo started to age, whatever. You could see it towards the end of the third movie. They run into Bilbo again, and that boy is old.
And see, that was the other part. Initially, when I saw the movie, I did not understand why did Bilbo get so old in the span of, days, or like maybe
the
like
ring's gone. So it's just you see in if you watch the Hobbit movies. You see that when Bilbo finds the ring, and I want to say it's in the second Hobbit movies, Desolation of Smaug, they end up going into a goblin cave, and he ends up falling down to the bottom of the cave, and he runs into Smeagol. And
okay,
he does a whole riddle thing, and that's how he ends up getting the ring. Gollum had dropped it, and Bilbo found it. And from there on, he was fascinated with it. Found out when he puts the ring on, he could disappear altogether.
Yeah.
And from there, the Hobbit was years before Lord of the Rings,
Right.
and it didn't look like he aged a day all the way into the Lord of the Rings.
Into the Lord of the Rings, correct.
Until the ring came off. And I think the whole adventure had took, don't quote me on this, but I think it took 2 years.
Okay.
For the Lord of the Rings.
The Hobbit movies or the Lord of the Rings?
The Lord of the Rings.
That trilogy took about 2 years. Okay.
Because I think at the very end, Frodo's writing into the book. So Bilbo had wrote the book, An Unexpected Journey.
Yeah.
And then from there, it went
Frodo
picked up, and he finished writing his story in there, which became Lord of the Rings. And I think he said within a span of 2 years. If I can remember correctly, I think he said it took 2 years to get back to the Shire.
That was the other argument that I had too. It was people were telling me, go watch the Hobbit movies. It'll all make more sense. It's like, but hold on. This is how it was laid out to me. Because when I watched Star Wars, granted, like I watched Star Wars when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When the prequels came out, so those were my movies. I didn't even know that the original trilogy existed. But when I watched the Lord of the Rings, that was the trilogy that came out.
Yes.
And when I went to go see, to be fair, I saw the first one in theaters, and I saw the second one the Two Towers in theaters as well. And again, the
blows
third
my
one,
mind.
Third one came out, I said, not for me.
That is insane because, especially Two Towers, that is, in my opinion, the best one. The battle at Helm's Deep is amazing. What do you mean? Oh my God, this will be a never-ending battle. Like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You don't like it. It's always gonna like sit in the back of my head I don't understand how you don't like it. It's got a ton of action. The story keeps me.
I think because somebody put it perfectly, right? I think it was you or I can't remember if it was Abe or that said that 90% of the population likes the Lord of the Ring, and I can agree with that. I can agree that almost everybody that I run into out there, we start talking about something nerdy, they bring up the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And my response to that was, I think it's just their nerdy quota that they need to meet.
It's kind of like a way in without being fully nerdish.
I don't want to be a nerd, but hey, this
is pretty cool.
This has dwarves and wizards and goblins. Oh yeah, I'm in. Yeah,
my dad is definitely like he doesn't. He's not into the whole comics or anything like that. He doesn't. I mean, they watch the Marvel movies, but I don't think they really care for them. I remember watching Ready Player One, and like I said, I was just sitting there glued to the TV, and my dad's like, I don't know what you like about it. He goes, the movie was all right. I was like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You just don't get it.
Don't understand.
But he loved Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. So I can see that point of, it's for people who, they're not into the nerdiest of things, but Lord of the Rings is that branch for them.
Yeah, it's like that one thing for them. And even I made the argument that people that watch Lord of the Rings, because I know people out there that you wouldn't think that they do anything nerdy in their lives, and they like the Lord of the Rings and play Dungeons and Dragons. I have yet to play Dungeons and Dragons in my life.
That is something. It's weird. Like, I don't know how you could say you don't do nerdy things and play Dungeons and Dragons, because to me that is the nerdiest.
That
thing
is,
you can do,
yeah, absolutely.
Play Dungeons and Dragons.
Absolutely, I can agree 100%.
Like I remember I went over to a party one time, and I won't divulge exactly what was going on at this party because it got a little out of hand.
As all parties should.
As all parties should. But the night winded down with this dude. He pulled out these sheets, and there was like 100 of them, and he had a whole map drawn, colored and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, boy, how many crayons did you use to color that in?
Dude,
and I'm telling you, it covered his entire living room. And he goes, we could pick up at where the finish the story or whatever, or the quest. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna pretend to know like how
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons is played, but I was like, this is intense.
That's nerd to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And like for people to tell me that if you can play Dungeons and Dragons and watch The Lord of the Rings, you can watch everything else. You can watch everything else.
Everything
And they're like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm not into it. Like, really?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
Dungeons and Dragons, from my understanding, like I don't know a whole lot about it, but that takes a lot of imagination, right?
So like it's a continuous game for what I understand. So the game never stops, basically.
Unless your character dies.
So like, and the only way that your character dies is basically you stop playing the game. Like you physically say like,
Well,
I don't want to play Dungeons and Dragons anymore.
That, or I do know that there was a guy, I remember hearing an article about it, and this dude, he creates these little figurines and stuff, and it's for each one has a crazy different backstory.
Yeah.
And he'll invite people from all around the world. Like he builds in his basement this huge world, and it's quite fascinating, to be honest. And he says there will be a time where if your character dies, he goes, I will retire that figurine. Like he'll put it in a case, and he goes,
And then that's
I'm
it.
sorry.
Yeah.
He goes,
It's dead. Yeah.
You can come back and maybe watch. He goes, but you can't participate. Your character's gone. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's intense.
And he's been doing this for years.
That's intense.
So it's pretty awesome. But like I said, I've never done it. I would have liked to have stayed there and watched these guys played it out.
Yeah.
But there were some things that were pulled out that it was best I left so I didn't get in trouble.
So like even what's that game? I know Henry Cavill's into it really.
Oh, Warhammer 4000.
Warhammer 40,000, right?
40,000, yeah,
40,000. That's another one of those games where it's like figurines. You have a whole tabletop. There's a whole lore behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, dude.
I do want to get into it just to see how it is and stuff.
Like
and
the game seems cool enough that like I would like to research into it. But I don't know if I can just dive right into
I don't
it
know if
like
I got
right
the
away.
time.
Yeah, I
we
don't
barely
think
have
so.
the time to do this podcast. Full-time jobs suck.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, we both could agree that there's just things out there for everybody. Maybe there's some things aren't for me, some things aren't for you. Whatever the case may be. But that's just me. Like the Lord, and I think I told you that I was trying to watch that movie like 6 times. Like 5 or 6 times I kept trying to watch the movie, and it's like I just could not get myself into the whole. I'm like, oh,
one
my
day,
God, man,
one day,
I need to just finish.
I will get you to watch it and truly enjoy why it is such a great. But till then, I will allow you your opinion and to say it's not a good movie.
And don't cancel me.
hey, there's some things you guys would like that I'd be like, no, that's pretty stupid.
That's pretty dumb. That's
but let's move on.
There's a
I've
lot.
been
A lot has happened.
Yeah.
In the time that
I
we've
wanted
been
to
away.
ask you a question.
Okay.
And this is a question that. So I carpool with a buddy of ours.
Yeah.
He needs me more than I need him. I get better gas mileage. But
Okay.
anyway, we've been doing this thing where when we ride in, we've been asking each other questions, and one of them is, I asked him the question. I go, if you had to live through the story of a certain hero, who would you choose?
Ooh.
Your life has to be identical to it. So understand, like if you think about it, everyone's gone through their tribulations. Like they've gone through something very dramatic,
Right.
to be where they are. What superhero would you be willing to live their life?
Oh, dude, I don't know.
You get their
So, like,
powers, but you got to live through their life and the hardships.
because you have to think that almost every superhero out there has had a loss.
Oh yeah, and it's messed
And
up.
it's a
yeah.
heart wrenching one, like just grab that sucker. It's like, ooh, man, I don't know.
So, if you had to pick a superhero that you had to live. You had to go through their trial and tribulations and live their life. Who would you pick?
I think it'd be tough. It'd be rough. But I think I would pick Thor.
That's a good one. That is a good one. You figure he lives thousands of years.
Thousands of years. He loses his parents. Granted,
He does. Has to
lots
fight his
of
own sister.
lots of family members. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, he finds like self enlightenment, and gets to be king of Asgard and all that kind of good
And you're a
stuff.
god.
And then you're a god basically. And what's cooler than just chucking a hammer?
That's pretty awesome, I gotta say. I think I chose Captain America in the sense of no one really, your best friend, you end up meeting him much further down the line. He thought he died. He didn't really die.
He didn't really die.
You do end up losing the love of your life, but she gets to live on. You just weren't there. The rest of his family, like if no one necessarily died around him that I can think of the top of my head. You just went away for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was starting to think of these other characters. Like Thor's probably the next best one for me. But if you pick Spider-Man, that's a terrible life.
Oh my
That's
God.
a terrible. Everyone around you dies.
You're poor. People die around you. You have to save the city. Thankless job. Everybody hates you.
Yeah.
Yeah. James Jonah Jameson just hates you. He hates your guts. Puts it on the newspaper, front page.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's a menace. Like, oh,
The only
my God.
benefit he gets is he gets to date a redhead. That's it. That's the only benefit.
Oh, sorry, Spidey.
Sorry, Peter. But you pick and like you start thinking about the other characters that are your favorite. I'd hate to be the Punisher.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, the Hulk. Pretty much you're on the run 24/7.
But I mean, so let's back up. The Punisher, that would suck, but his story arc is justified.
absolutely, like is why he becomes the Punisher.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah.
As to why he becomes a Punisher, yeah.
Push a man to that limit.
Absolutely.
That is the end result. Hey, you crossed every line imaginable.
Absolutely.
This is the end result.
Yeah.
But going back, you can't. If you were the Hulk, you're constantly on the run.
Constantly on the run. You can't get angry. Like
Can't get angry.
anything.
You can't get happy.
Yeah.
You can't get the heart rate going.
Yeah. You get the heart rate going.
Green
That's
guy
it.
comes
Yeah.
out. If you're Daredevil, you're
blind.
You're blind. Your dad is murdered by the mob, and you work in Hell's Kitchen. You're a lawyer, but you don't get paid very good.
No. No.
Who else? There's tons of them. Iron Man. Your parents are killed by the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, by the Winter Soldier. I mean, Iron Man doesn't have it so bad, but I think he just has so much on his plate. Like, people depend on him so much that he's to the point of, like, stress. Constantly stressed out,
And don't even get me started on the DC heroes.
Oh,
I don't want to be Batman either.
I think almost everybody's parents are, like, in some sort of danger. Batman's parents get killed in an alleyway. Barry Allen's mom gets killed.
Superman's
his
entire
dad's in
race
jail.
gets eliminated. And your planet gone.
Out of here. He constantly has to, like, hover over his parents, like, make sure that they're okay because they're older as well.
What about the Fantastic Four?
I mean, they're a family. I mean, I guess that's.
I think as long as you're not.
I would hate to be Ben Grimm.
Yeah, I don't want to be the thing. Damn it!
Go.
Yeah, give me Johnny. Give me Human Torch.
Johnny Blaze, yeah. Human Torch. Mr. Fantastic would be okay. Invisible Girl. I mean, like that's
probably the best.
The best outcome.
Yeah.
Just not Ben Grimm.
It's not Ben Grimm.
That's about it. I mean, his character's pretty cool, super strong, which always made me wonder who would be who's actually stronger, the Hulk or the Thing?
No, the Hulk.
The Hulk? You
The
think
Hulk.
so?
Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure there are some issues where the Thing has won, but hands down the Hulk.
Because you think the Thing has more reasoning. Like, he has more thought than just the Hulk. The Hulk's just always in a state of anger.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't really think. He's just wanting to, like, pummel stuff, you know?
The Thing doesn't have to turn it off and on. He's immediately in a state of his max strength.
Right.
Obviously, his intelligence didn't go away. It stayed there.
Absolutely.
The Hulk, you have to get to the point of the Hulk from Bruce Banner. And then on top of that, you're no longer in control.
No.
The Hulk is just, like you said, in a complete state of rage the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he just wants to, but I guess going off of whether you're going movies or comic books, the Hulk technically gets stronger the matter
Hulk,
he gets.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean.
And I don't think the Thing could ever go toe-to-toe with the Sentry.
No.
Hulk has.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
In fact, the only reason why Sentry won is because he simply tired out the Beast. That was it. He didn't even kill him. He just tired him out.
Just tuckered him out. Like, all right, night.
So, yeah, I'd say the Hulk. Now, if you had to live through a villain's story.
A villain,
who you choosing? And it's so sad because my favorite villain or anti-hero, he's like a hero, but he's not a hero. What's that term?
Anti-hero.
Is it anti-hero? Yeah,
just an anti-hero. Yeah,
would be Magneto, but I don't want to go through that guy's life.
Oh yeah, that's
he went through the Holocaust.
Yeah,
that guy had it bad.
Oh God. For a villain's arc, I don't know, man. Like, cause you have Magneto. Yeah, it's kind of that's a messed up life. Thanos, that's a weird arc. You know, you're the redheaded stepchild of that whole family. A mutation just made you purple. Everybody else is pink, and you're the only purple one. Let's see who else. Like, all the other villains they're just I don't know. I mean,
if you go through Bane's story arc, I mean, technically, you're depending whether it's the movie or comics. Your movies, you're in a constant state of pain.
Yeah,
and that's why you got to wear that respirator. Comics, I'm pretty sure he was just a scrawny dude that just said, hey, I want to start juicing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in that sense, it wouldn't be that bad, but I don't know Bane's complete backstory. The Joker, if you're the Joker,
you're absolutely
you're nuts.
Bat nuts.
Yeah.
Crazy, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm pretty sure it was in The Killing Joke that it showed his backstory of he had a wife that was pregnant. He was a failing comedian, and he gets pushed into a batch of chemicals, and that's what made him go loopy. But his wife ended up dying, losing the child from a car accident, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know if I'd want that.
No. Dude, as far as like villain story arcs goes, I don't know, man. Like, I would say
I'm picking
Kang. I think Kang,
the
Conqueror, would be the most remotely in control that you are of your own destiny. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's crazy too, but
I'm going full chaos. Full petty chaos. I'm going Reverse Flash.
Ooh.
I'm going to be the reason for my own arch enemy, the hero Flash.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and you're a speedster.
You're a speedster. You can travel the multiverse. You can go past, present, future. Yep. You pretty much got it all, and you manipulate the events of history to your liking, to where it's like, okay, I need things to go this way, this way, this way, this way.
To play in my favor.
And so on and so forth. Got it. Yeah. That's wild. That's crazy.
I mean, if we're going to go through the animated version eventually Thomas Wayne puts a bullet in my head, but it's
Yeah.
it's what I trade off for getting to run as fast as possible.
Didn't he? So I watched that movie recently. It wasn't that long ago. Didn't he actually like survive that bullet?
I can't remember, to be honest.
So he got shot in the head, and I have to watch that movie again. But I could have sworn the Reverse Flash was in it again, like a little bit later in the movie. And it's like, what?
Probably
and
is.
It's like he used his speed powers basically
To heal.
So yeah, like he got shot in the back of the head. You could see the hole clear as day, right? Like that bullet went through, and somehow, right there at the very last minute, he like used his speed powers to kind of like heal himself or like go backwards in time. There was a lot.
Just when you think he's
Dude,
he's
yeah,
done.
just when you think he's done, it was like, dang, I got to go watch that movie again. But I could have sworn that he like survived that. And it was, yeah, to me, that was crazy. I was like, what? what?
He's hands down probably one of my favorites, besides Magneto.
Absolutely.
Magneto, I see as justified. Reverse Flash is just
Yeah.
a douche.
Douche. Yeah, that guy sucks.
Speaking of other things, this came out of nowhere. But let's there's some things we haven't caught up on that I do want to catch them on.
There's a lot of things.
We can't get to all of it, so we are going to talk at least about one, and that's about Loki.
So, a little backpedaling here. There's been a lot going on in the TV world, right?
Yep.
You've had what was that show? Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasions.
There was, what else came out?
I think that was
Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle came out. There's been a few movies here and there. Right now, we are on Loki currently. Episode 4, season 2, episode 4. That's where we kind of left off. And the MCU has been going through a rough patch. Very rough. A lot of people have voiced their dislike with what's been going on, like how they've been taking care of things. They canceled a whole upcoming series, Daredevil Born Again. They canceled that series completely,
which I'm very glad
because of the direction that they were headed. The rumors were that on that series, we weren't going to see Daredevil in costume until episode 4. So it was going to be more of a lawyer show than it was going to be, action superhero action show.
Which is dumb. If I want to see lawyers, I'll watch Law and Order.
Law and Order.
Yeah. I don't want to see Matt Murdock. I want to see
I want to see Daredevil. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, give me the story arc. Give me the more background. Like how's he fighting crime? Out of the suit as he is in the suit. Absolutely, but don't give me just lawyer stuff,
no,
dude. Like,
don't want it.
This is a Marvel show. He was created specifically for this. Don't just show one side of the whole story.
And I'm starting to think it's people that don't really care. Like there was a lot of this going on. What show was it? There was a show or a movie not too long ago before the writer's strike, and it was like The Witcher. With Henry Cavill.
Yes, The Witcher.
The whole argument was there were cast members, writers that didn't even like the story. But they're writers on the show, and it's like, hey, this isn't true to the character.
Yeah.
Quit having me do this. It's looking bad.
And it was Henry Cavill himself saying, like, hey, we probably shouldn't do this. We probably should go a different direction.
I know a lot of people were saying that he's going to get blacklisted for doing that because now he's a person that's hard to work with. And in my opinion, that's the guy I want. The guy who is a true fan.
Absolutely.
I want that guy portraying the character that I like and love.
That's why he played the character in the first place. Henry Cavill was a huge Witcher fan.
That's a nerd. That's
that guy. And when he's on set, like he fully takes that role. And then for just somebody to come out of nowhere and say like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do something different. It's like, no, that wouldn't happen. That's not how it should go.
There's a blueprint already written for this character.
Exactly.
Don't go outside that blueprint unless you have permission from the creator himself saying, hey, yeah, I could see this character being like that.
Absolutely.
Other than that, stay true to the blueprint.
And I mean, that's across the whole board. You know, look at, like I said, look at Marvel. Again, going back to that whole thing, like those characters, you know, I think She-Hulk by far is like the worst show that has come out so far.
That was pretty bad.
And I was like, oh my God, man. Like, you know, I go into these shows watching them, you know, with good expectations. And even though I know there's some things that are like, yeah, that was kind of cringy, you know, that was kind of weird. We probably shouldn't do that. I think I drew the line where you have a strong, physically strong female character, empowering, right? Let's go there. You know, she's a lawyer, independent, and then you put her twerking in a freaking office. And it's like, I mean, really? Like, is this a level that we scoop down to? Like, we have to have some sort of twerking? It's like, don't give me progressive nonsense, you know? Like, this is a character that was supposed to resonate with kids, with little girls, you know, everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, cool. Like a lawyer,
say, though,
she's
that
super
She-Hulk
strong.
has always been a conflicting character because there's been some questionable issues, comic issues that have been released.
Oh yeah.
She had done some things that were questionable in, you know, the public eye, but I wouldn't say She-Hulk is the worst show. It's damn near second. I'd say, in my opinion, the worst show was Secret Invasions because it was such a letdown. You built up the story where Shield came back, or my brain's having a brain fart. Nick Fury came back, and it was to fight against the invasion that's impending on Earth. And you have the scroll, the Super Scroll that's, you know, embodied with all the powers of all these characters that have been their DNA has been taken over the past few years from New York, the invasion in New York and all these other events, and you put it into one scroll. This dude's basically a god. If you look back on that last episode, or the second to last episode, it had a list of all the people that he embodied their powers. Yeah. It was Drax. He had Thanos.
Drax, Thanos, Captain Marvel. Basically, everybody that was on that battlefield on Endgame.
Oh, yeah, Endgame.
Anybody that was in that battlefield, she had their DNA.
So the CGI was so terrible.
That was another,
It was rushed, and the fight lasted, 20 minutes? It just, if that. It wasn't even, I don't even want to say 20 minutes. I'd say maybe 10 minutes of screen time.
But, like, arguably, so now, really, we're getting into, like, when she had all those powers, she was the strongest character in the MCU.
Hands down.
Officially.
Hands down.
Right? Because now she has all these powers from all these characters. Like
both of them, because they both absorbed it.
You're damn near untouchable.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you beat that? How do you beat that character, right? So, like, now you have a overpowered character out there that can basically wipe the face of the earth clean.
Yeah.
Who can come up and say, like, hey, we can...
No one.
Nobody.
No one.
And then, CGI was really bad. Like, lately, not just Secret Invasion, lately, a lot of those shows and movies, the CGI was going downwards.
And it just feels so rushed.
And
it's like they're trying to pump it out as fast as possible.
Again, why Daredevil got canceled. They, you know... There was a lot of complaints. The story arcs, not the story arcs, but like the stories that were going to be played out, and then the quality that was going to be put out. It was just all going downhill. Yep. And then that brings us up to Loki. Loki, I will say, is arguably the only saving grace that they have right now.
It is hands down. So when I watched the rest of the shows, right, I was kind of like sitting there like, I don't really care for the story. It's not encapsulated. It's not catching my attention all that much. Mm-hmm. I just watched it so I knew what was going on. Loki, however, I'm sitting there like on the edge of my seat going, holy shnikes. What the? And then this last episode of episode 4 on season 2, I think I texted you and I said that was a bigger cliffhanger than Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what the hell just happened?
Oh yeah.
Hands like Loki is their saving grace, and it's such a good show. I absolutely love it. The acting's not terrible. The CGI I don't think is bad.
Yep.
I love all the characters. I love where they're taking it, and it's making me wonder. Like that's what I said before, right? When I mentioned my favorite movie was Interstellar.
Right.
Make me think sometimes. I don't want to just sit there like a mindless idiot going, make me.
Oh yeah.
Have to think. So this last episode, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it yet.
You probably should have seen it already.
Probably should have seen it. So it ends with the timeline exploding
completely,
just
obliterated. It's erased from existence.
In fact, Kang went down in there in the suit to try to fix it.
Yeah,
and the minute he walked out there, it was just spaghettified. string cheese.
Yeah.
So, and then the blast doors could no longer handle it, and you just see the whole timeline rupture.
Yeah,
and just everyone's gone. Loki, everyone. You just see the look. They knew it was over.
Mm-hmm.
First off, that was only episode 4.
So
how you gonna leave me on a note like that?
You still have 2 more episodes to go from here. But, dude, the internet went crazy, right? You go on every forum out there, YouTube, you name it. Anybody out there is talking about this last episode because they opened the door. They didn't just open. Yeah, they didn't just open like a few doors here and there. No, they opened the magic door, right? Like boom. Basically, you just reset the whole entire MCU.
Everything.
Right? Everything completely. Like everything that just happened previously, the last 20 some odd 30 plus movies that we've had.
Yeah.
Just kind of went out the window now. Well, not necessarily, but
I wouldn't say out the window, but what you did was you opened the doors for other movies to now, in my opinion, from the way I am perceiving it, you opened the door for other movies to now join in.
Exactly. To come on in, be a part of this whole crazy universe.
Kevin Feige, I think, it was 3 weeks ago, he said every Marvel movie that had ever been made is canon.
Yeah.
So that means Blade.
Yeah.
With Wesley Snipes. That means the original Fantastic Four. That means X-Men. X-Men.
The Hulk movies. The all the shows, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Inhumans, you name it. Like
Ben Affleck's
Daredevil.
And not everyone's favorite, but
it's so rough. It's so rough. But hey, Ben Affleck.
But it is canon. That is what he said. So the way we were talking about this when I called you, screaming like a little girl, was the way we're looking at it is it's possible that the door has been opened up for all these characters. The timelines are open to where these characters can now be introduced into the MCU.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm so excited. I can't wait for this Thursday to see the new episode. I want to know what's going to happen, Yeah,
because this is kind of like the way of, there was always like arguments of like, well, this doesn't really line up with the MCU, or this doesn't really like fall in line, with the MCU, et cetera, et cetera. And I think, we talked about it, how Ryan Reynolds was probably like the only character that was kind of like
pushing for these other characters.
Pushing things to, come in the way that they were. while that is true, I think now officially we can look at it. It was like a plethora of things that were causing the MCU to start falling apart. You know, you had Daredevil going around, you know, killing all the other timelines. At the end of Daredevil, not Daredevil.
I was like, when was he killing timelines?
Deadpool,
yeah.
At the end of
the first movie,
the second movie, right?
Oh, it is, yeah, because he
at the end
he
of
had
second,
Cable's watch.
he had Cable's time travel device, which that was kind of a little loophole there. It's kind of weird because it was supposed to be a time travel, not a interdimensional travel, and he was going out to other dimensions.
You're right. Well, but he's able to break the fourth wall.
He is able to break the fourth wall, but if it's just a time travel device, how are you going to other dimensions and killing yourself in other, you know, movies?
Well, Deadpool's always been able to do that because there was an issue written where, and I highly recommend after this tonight, you look into this. There's a YouTube channel. I'll even send you the video. The guy explains the whole issue, where Deadpool kills the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah.
And it is amazing. It is insane. Because Deadpool's able to do, because they've made several adaptations of so and so kill the Marvel universe.
Right.
I think they had the Punisher kills the Marvel universe, but hands down, Deadpool when he killed the Marvel universe, because he's able to break the fourth wall. In the actual comic, you see at the very end, he goes, "I've killed everyone." He goes, "Who's left?" And you see in the comic issue where he's opening the door, and you see the writers of Deadpool in there discussing, and then he should do this, and he's walking in like he's gonna kill him. So he's able to go into the real world and kill the writers themselves.
Right.
So because of that, I think, and it's a loophole. It's a gray area. I see what you're saying because he's not just. It's funny because technically he now branched into DC as well when he killed Ryan Reynolds for Green Lantern.
He definitely did, and that's why I'm saying, like, I get that Deadpool can do these kind of things, but like you're only at his second movie.
Yeah,
I think it's still too early to be able to like, hey, where are the writers? You know, She-Hulk already did that.
What, break the fourth wall?
Break the fourth wall.
Well, she's always been able to.
Well, she's always been able to, but like she went into the writer's room to like change the direction of how this show was going.
Deadpool did it first.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, hold on, like for Deadpool, I think it was still too early to be doing all of that. Like maybe they should have just stayed in the timeline. But
what if
I think by them doing She-Hulk, I think that was like their plan initially. Like She-Hulk was going to be able to like change the course of things, but in reality, it should have been Deadpool.
What if Ryan Reynolds is sitting there, right, with his team of writers, and he's like, "We need to get into the MCU. We need to be introduced into." Well, I know he's been wanting that.
Oh yeah, he's been wanting this.
But the fact that he does, because now he's one of those actors that I can't see anyone else playing Deadpool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He embodied it well, and he's like Henry Cavill. He played the character to the T.
Yeah,
he played it the way it was written and how it should be.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he did his homework.
Yeah,
I'm sure he read a plethora of comics and was like, I understand how this character works.
Sure did.
I understand how he thinks. I'm going to portray that in real life.
Yep.
So what if he was like, at the end, for the second movie, he came up with the thought process, or the writers did. How do we open a door that's possible to get into the MCU? Mm-hmm. Let's start messing with time, because we see where the rest of the Marvel movies are going. So now if we show that we can open time, we open the door, there's a loophole where we can be introduced somewhere down the line into the rest of the movies. And now that he got Hugh Jackman, which I love that they're friends in real life. Now that he got him to play Wolverine in this, I think that was another way of saying, hey, you see, I can work well with other characters.
Yep.
Because I guarantee Deadpool 3 is going to break box office records.
Dude, I'm telling you, whenever that movie comes out, that's going to be the movie that everything is going to come together. I can almost guarantee it. Because So now you're seeing Loki right now, right?
Yep.
You're watching Loki. Boom, the timeline just exploded. And it's not just the sacred timeline. It was like all the branch timelines, everything that was like falling apart right there
you
at
saw
the
like
loom.
100 timelines going into that one.
And then just, completely boom, exploded, right? So there's going to be, you remember how movies after Infinity War were implementing the snap, right? Like Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know, afterwards, like at the end of the movie. It's like, oh yeah, you know, like going into the quantum realm, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, come on out. Oh, hey, two funny guys, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And it's like they got snapped, right? And shows thereon after were showing how people came back from the snap, went away on the snap, you know, what was happening in that whole, you know, across the universe with that snap. I think this is going to be the new snap. Is this timeline? You know, you're going to be moving along in a story, and then all of a sudden, boom, it goes.
There's somewhere else.
Dark, and then all of a sudden, there's somewhere else, and it's going to be like, wait, what? How am I here? Like, what's happening? Because I think Disney does trailers for the next episodes. The trailer for episode 5 is already out. I've seen it already.
I haven't.
I would say don't watch it.
I don't want to.
And I've seen it, so obviously there's going to be more story to the series, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's more story, but it's going to be kind of one of those like, what just happened? You know, like kind of confused. Don't know what's exactly happening, and it's like somehow they still remember what happened. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah. You just got hit with a flashbang in the face.
Exactly, like a flashbang just got in your face, and it's like, what just happened? Exactly. So that's kind of what's going to be happening, and I think throughout the universe, we go back to Earth, the Avengers, you know, whoever, all the street level fighters are going to be like, you know, in the middle of something, all of a sudden, boom, reset. Like, hey, what just happened?
They can sense something's wrong.
Yeah.
So, okay, I dig it. I like it. I like where this is going. Right now, like I said, Loki's the saving grace of the MCU.
Oh yeah.
When Deadpool 3 comes out, that'll be another one carrying the weight. Those guys, their backs must hurt carrying the entire MCU at this point.
Oh yeah.
There is someone else, in my opinion, that's going to be carrying the weight as well. However, it's not owned by Marvel entirely. Sony owns the rights.
Spider-Man.
Did you hear?
Spider-Man.
I don't know if the article was true or not, but Andrew Garfield has been they said is slated to come back in Amazing Spider-Man 3, and the arch enemy will be Venom.
Oh my god.
Tom Hardy's.
Don't play with me right now.
Venom.
Don't play with me right now.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Oh my. Those, first off, two amazing characters or actors. The reason why Venom is so successful is because Tom Hardy is also one of those guys that does his homework.
Oh yeah.
And played the character how it should have been. In fact, I'm sure a lot of people do know this by now, but Tom Hardy is also, like, he voices that second voice you hear. That is,
that is Venom.
Yeah, it's Venom, but that's Tom Hardy voicing Venom.
Voicing Venom, and he like deepens his voice. Like,
that is great. So like,
that is, yeah.
He was a great cast as Eddie Brock to play Venom, and then Andrew Garfield, fan favorite.
And I think that was one of the reasons why they brought Venom in, because if you think about it, right, the villains that came into the last Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, were villains from
Across
Tobey Maguire's universe
and
Andrew Garfield's universe. So Venom came from one of those two universes, from either, and it wasn't Tobey Maguire's.
I don't think he came from any other universe. I think he was in his own separate universe.
He had to have come from one of those two. So remember, right? We had Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. We already had a Venom there.
Already had. Yep, that was Topher Grace.
Exactly. We didn't get a Venom in The Amazing Spider-Man, and in No Way Home.
Nope.
We get this Venom, but he's from a different universe. So that only means that he belongs,
I think,
in the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
I wouldn't say he belongs. I think that's where he fits. I'll say that. He fits in there, but I don't think that's where he came from. Because they were all across. Remember when the glitch happened, when Doctor Strange started branching out the timelines?
Yeah.
And at the end of Venom 2, he's licking the TV. He goes,
yeah.
He was talking about how his species can see throughout universes.
They have a hive memory.
Yeah. So it's not just their world. Okay, so we had some technical difficulties
again.
Again. This is a new setup, new laptop that we're using. And after a while, for some reason, the camera just said, "Hey, I'm burning."
Haven't been working this hard lately
for a while.
So we left off Venom universes.
What
Andrew
universe
Garfield.
he's from?
Yeah.
So I think he was from a completely separate universe altogether, not from any of theirs, because I think he would have mentioned before,
right,
that there would have been a Spider-Man. You know, the minute he saw Spider-Man on the TV, he licks it and he goes, "That guy."
Yeah.
So I think when everything got set back to normal and certain characters got thrown back to their own universes, I don't think all of them got set back to the universe they were supposed to.
To their respective universes. Yeah. Oh, okay, I see.
Point for one of the characters that proves my point is Falcon.
Falcon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, not Falcon. Vulture. Sorry.
Oh, Vulture.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brain.
I was gonna say. I was like, whoa,
what? Peter. Tom Holland's. So many names.
I know.
Tom Holland's. Vulture.
Oh yeah, he went back to Morbius's.
He went to Andrew Garfield's.
Well, he was in Morbius.
He was in Morbius.
So he ended up in that universe, wherever Morbius is from.
And that was Now that
we don't
so
know.
Where the hell is he? Now I'm lost. But
I confused myself.
He's in Morbius's, but that gave reason to believe that was going to be the Sinister Six, and that was supposed to be for Tom Holland's, not Tom Holland's, Andrew Garfield's, because at the end of was it Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2? Yeah, at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, Green Goblin, remember he was in the prison and he was trying to get all the others together to form the Sinister Six. I think that was supposed to be for that, but I think Venom somehow got thrown into that world as well.
But if you remember right, in Morbius, when he was running through that alleyway, you see the poster of Spider-Man.
That is true.
And it was Tobey Maguire's
Spider-Man.
Is true. So Vulture went back to Tobey Maguire's universe. If he's in the Morbius universe, then he's in the Tobey Maguire's.
That makes sense.
Universe.
That does make sense because, like you said, Tobey Maguire already had his Venom.
Exactly.
So makes more sense to, let's just get these guys and throw them at Tobey's. And I think they already said that Tobey was going to be returning for a third or a fourth movie.
They haven't
confirmed
I think there's
rumors.
it,
Yeah,
but
I think there was rumors.
He definitely wants to come back and do something.
And
but
the fans want it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So then they're going to make, and as of right now, Spider-Man is Sony's
That's their
golden
baby.
goose. That is the golden goose.
That's their baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They will not give up the rights to that. And they have to keep making movies in order to keep the rights to it, from my understanding.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that. But
I mean, like right now, they're on a good track record right now. So I don't think they're going to lose the rights anytime soon.
Oh, absolutely not.
And definitely, Kevin Feige's like working very closely with Sony. Like, hey, like let's bring Spider-Man over. Like Tom Holland just signed another contract, to appear in another 4 or 5 movies or something like that. Not necessarily like because he already did his 3, or actually he signed up for more than 3 because he was in his original 3, and then he was also in Infinity War, Endgame, and Civil War. So he signed up for 6 movies, and they just did another contract for him to show up in another like 5 or 6 movies.
Makes sense because he's gonna have to. You gotta have Spider-Man in
Avengers, Secret Wars, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. And with Sony, the way they're going, like with all the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the Sony PS4, PS5 Spider-Man, which, by the way, I've been playing Spider-Man 2 on the PS5, and I have to say,
great.
Yeah, I got the collector's edition.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, I got the...
Oh, I saw it on your Snapchat. At that moment, I was like, I hate you.
Makes you want to come to the dark side.
100%, I'll always choose the dark side. I'm all about that dark side.
Absolutely. But haven't finished the game yet. Can't wait to see it. And we've already confirmed that even the PS5 or PS4, whatever, PlayStation, the video game PS5 is canon to the whole universe as well. If you remember seeing it from Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
They showed that Spider-Man version in the...
did they? They showed the video game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember. There were so many
Spider-Man, but that was one of them that showed up in the actual movie. And then vice versa, when they were playing, when Across the Spider-Verse was playing, like in the beginning, Genki was sitting on the side, on the bed. When Spider-Man comes in through the window, he was playing video games. He was playing Spider-Man PS4.
Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's something I didn't notice. We can keep going all day on this.
Oh yeah.
So I think that'd probably be enough for today, just because our equipment doesn't want to work with us for today.
We gotta work through some
glitches,
some little glitches here. Make sure that everything's tip top.
Yeah, but we are back. This is we're gonna try to get back into the regular of doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
We fell off the wagon for a bit. Life hits you, and things just you get caught up in other things.
There's been a lot of moving pieces, just not necessarily like in the nerd world, but like in real life. Like a lot of moving pieces. We have to like make decisions here coming up.
Oh, big decisions.
And big decisions, and we're just kind of figuring out where everything falls in line. But hopefully we can get to a consistent groove again.
Yeah.
And we'll start bringing back episodes, and you guys get to enjoy them once again.
I hope you guys enjoy. You better enjoy.
Another little tidbit for you guys. We'll see if we can start doing like individuals. I know we can't always get together all the time. So we will try to at least keep up the content, rolling with just me or just Jesus, and we'll see if we can start delivering.
Yeah,
it won't be like the full podcast.
It'll probably be like a 10, 20-minute short.
Something,
something
quick.
Yeah, short. Well, 20,
that's 20 minutes.
Compared to 2-hour episode, yeah. A 10, 20-minute is short.
Yeah.
But yeah, that way, if there's something that pops up and we can't get together that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, something needs to get addressed. Yeah, absolutely.
And this goes for not just Nerd Mythology, but Cup of Joe with the J's. So we'll start bringing that back. In fact, now that I think about it, I think I have an episode I never edited, and that needs to get done. But that means I got work.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah,
too.
I think I totally spaced it out.
Did that episode that we do ever air?
No, I think I totally spaced it out. Like I said, life hits you, and some stuff gets put on the back burner. But like I said, I want to get back into the regular of this.
It's wintertime too, so like we're gonna go a lot slower too. Summertime, you're going to events, you're partying, you're going out, doing a lot of things. Wintertime starts
kind of stuck inside, so might as well be in front of the mic.
Might as well. So
thank you guys for watching and listening. If you guys have stuck with us this far, we appreciate it. Keep up, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and keep up with us to see any new episodes coming out.
Heck yeah.
And watch old episodes if you haven't caught up already.
Yeah, I don't know how to put the thing down at the bottom, like, oh, watch this video if you want something else to watch, or I don't know how to do that. So if I figure it out, maybe you'll get an old episode somewhere here, but if not, enjoy my iced coffee.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you. You
Peace.
shall not pass.